Good morning, MegaPodlings. Crazy Joe here. Looks like we're all alone, and by we're all alone, I mean just me, because nobody's here yet. Nobody's watching yet. Hope someone does pop in, because, hey, what's the point of a live stream if no one's here? So it is Wednesday night. It is, impromptu live stream. I really didn't have much else going on. It's that time of the night where everyone else in the house has gone to bed, and I'm either gonna sit and watch reruns of Silver Spoons off Antenna TV, or I don't know. So I figured, hey, live stream. So hello, Geriatric Geek. How are you tonight? It's quite a stormy night out, I believe. Oh, in Pennsylvania at least. I don't know how it is everywhere else. Is this lighting like washing my face out? Like I see a big glare right here. Oh, you're in Vegas. I lost big in Vegas. I got married there. Ex-wife. But I married my ex-wife in Vegas. I always start these live streams and don't really have anything pressing to say. So if people don't have questions to steer the conversation, it really goes nowhere. So I will show off that I did pick up Solo in on Steelbook. Locals don't gamble. I don't gamble either. I mean, aside from my ex-wife, I guess that was a gamble. But I'm not a gambler. In fact, I only went to Vegas to get married. But I liked it there. It was a lot to do, even if you don't gamble. We got married on the old Star Trek experience that doesn't exist anymore. But a great wedding, terrible marriage. That's what I always say. Great wedding, terrible marriage. In fact, I have a souvenir from the Star Trek experience right here. It's the menu to Quark's Bar. Quark's Bar and Grill at the Star Trek experience. I've still got the menu. And I'm dropping stuff. I put this in there. I've also got the Solo menu from Denny's. So I kind of keep the two of them together. It seems thematically correct to have a Star Trek menu and a Star Wars menu, so I keep them together. Something fell out of that menu on the floor here. Bear with me a moment. I want to see what I dropped, because I don't even know. Oh, here we go. You know, my friends, it is fairly well known, I think. Certainly not a secret that most of my friends are artists. And my closest friend, going back many years, Dave Perillo, he's the guy who was in the Disney videos with me. He gave me some little art prints he did, and I had them stored in the Quark menu. Dave did all these. That is Kira from the Dark Crystal. And there is Chamberlain from the Dark Crystal. My friend Dave did all these. And here is Jen from the Dark Crystal. And a Mystic. And we got a couple Babylon 5, or not Babylon 5, Battlestar Galacticas. There's Starbuck. There's a Cylon. And there's an old school 70s Cylon. So, that is what was in the menu there. These are pretty cool, but they're an odd shape. They're small, so I don't quite know what to do with them. I guess I can get small frames, but they're pretty exciting. So it says we have 4 people watching. Who I know Geriatric Geeks here. Who else is here? Anyone else want to chime in? And that number, as we've well established by now, is not accurate. There's very often more people in there than it indicates are in there. So who else is here? Hey, it's Chris. How you doing, Chris? Yeah. So it is Wednesday. I just watched the series premiere of Manifest. I don't know if anyone watched it on NBC. I think it aired last night, but I just watched it tonight. I'm intrigued, but I just don't have a lot of time to watch more television shows. The DC Comics shows, Arrow, Supergirl, Flash, they seem to take up all my time, and I'm not even enjoying all of them anymore. Like Arrow, I think I've checked out of Arrow. American Horror Story. I haven't watched American Horror Story since season 2. I really loved season 1. And I couldn't get into season 2. And then I just kind of fell off of it. I've heard they've been up and down. Like good season here, good season there, up, bad season, oh, no, good season again. So one of these days I'll have to check out the ones I hear are good seasons. Because the cool thing about that show is there's not, continuity from season to season. So why not? I am sort of tired. Not real tired. It's like a mental tired, but not physically tired. It's a weird state. So if I seem slightly out of it, I think that's it. There's stuff I probably should be doing rather than a live stream. Like, for example, the podcast. We recorded a new episode of the podcast, and I have not edited it. Yeah. And I really should. But I gotta be honest with you, I just don't feel like it. Hey, here's something cool I'll show you that I got sitting here. Look at this. I just had this framed. This is a autographed Frank Oz Blu-ray. Not Blu-ray, DVD. It's just a DVD. But Frank Oz directed a movie called Muppet Guys Talking. And there were several tiers that you could sign up for. And one of the tiers, he sent you an autographed DVD. So I decided to frame that. Frank Oz does not like signing autographs. He does not sign autographs often. So I'm like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'll frame it. I'm like, let me get a picture frame that I could take a picture in. So I'll put one of his characters in. Sam Eagle is probably my favorite of the Muppets that Frank Oz performs. He's one of my favorite Muppets. Like, I think my favorite Muppet is Sweetums, but Sam is probably my second favorite. I love Sam. So when I needed a Frank Oz character to stick in this frame, Sam was the no-brainer. So I framed this, and I need to find someplace to hang it up. I think I know where it's going to go. Sam's awesome, isn't he? You are all weirdos. Love Sam. And Frank Oz, he came up with a backstory for every one of his Muppet characters. Like, before he performed them, he had to decide who they were, like, get in their heads. And he came up with these complex backstories for each of them. And, like, Sam is divorced, and his wife left him and took their daughter. And he was kind of directionless, and he met the Muppets and felt they needed his guidance, so he started hanging out with them. Crazy backstories. And most of them are kind of dark. He gives all his characters these kind of dark backstories. So it's kind of fun. Speaking of Frank Oz, I managed to get my hands on the Audrey 2 Funko Pop, which might be my favorite Funko Pop of all time. It doesn't even really look like a Funko Pop because it doesn't have the beady eyes that they usually have because it's, a plant. So it ends up just looking like a miniature reproduction of the Audrey 2. I really dig that. So, I have too much stuff, man. I got too much stuff. Got my geeky tikis here. Here's this one, the one I'm showing you here, the Gorn. This is a replacement. I gave my original to Adam the Woo. He was here, and he apparently shares my love of the Gorn, and he flipped out over this so much. I'm like, take it, man. Take it. And I bought myself a new one because I love the Gorn too. The Gorn and the Megatu are my two favorite. So what's going on, everybody? What's everyone excited about? Tonight on James Corden's show is the trailer is going to debut for Dark Phoenix, X-Men, the new X-Men movie, which is not titled X-Men anymore. Apparently, Fox changed the title from X-Men: Dark Phoenix to just Dark Phoenix, which does lead some credence to the theory that Disney's kind of trying to sweep that movie under the rug. If Disney's going to be rebooting the X-Men as soon as everything, this movie was already in front of cameras when the Disney Fox deal was signed. So it was kind of a little too late to pump the brakes on it. It was done. So, but the rumor is that they're going to do a complete reboot. Though I got issues with that too, which I can tell you about later. So, if Disney's going to be doing a complete reboot of the X-Men, they may want the X-Men name to be quote unquote clean, for lack of a better words, and they might just be thinking, well, let's take the X-Men name off of this, so there's no brand confusion when we do debut a new X-Men movie. That's one theory out there. Here's the problem with Fox rebooting X-Men from scratch. If you read the X-Men comics, mutants, where the comics start, like going all the way back to X-Men #1, mutants were not a new phenomenon. Mutants were out there in the world because Magneto and Charles Xavier had grown to adulthood, learned to master their powers, and Charles Xavier opened a school to teach the younger generation. So now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we've never seen, there's no mutants. There's been no mutants in any of those movies. Now this presents a problem because if mutants don't exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it is now, that means something has to happen to create the first mutants. The first mutants need to emerge now for the first time. And if that's the case, then how could Professor X be teaching a school when he's just learning to master his powers because he just got them? There's where the problem lies. You lose the backstory of the old mentor teaching a new generation because the old mentor would have just been coming into this mutant phenomenon himself. So you kind of need, for X-Men to work, you need a history of mutants in the world. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe does not have that. So I don't think rebooting X-Men can work, really. I think what they should do is merge the two universes. Like establish that the Fox X-Men universe that exists now and the Marvel Cinematic Universe are parallel Earths, do a multiverse, and have something, maybe use one of the Infinity Stones or something. Something causes those universes to merge into one, so the history of both universes kind of combines. This also allows you, people always talk about how there's inconsistencies in the X-Men timeline. This also solves the problem of those inconsistencies because now that the universes have merged, you could just write them off as time paradoxes. And then you just keep the continuity really tight from there on in. I really see that as being the best solution because if you do a clean reboot, how are you going to explain Professor X running a school when he's just getting his powers for the first time? Like, I can't see it working. But Disney does like to reboot everything from scratch. So that's probably what they're going to do because that's what they always do. But I don't think it's the right answer as far as X-Men are concerned. Honestly, I got to be honest with you. I'm not happy about the Marvel Cinematic Universe getting control of the X-Men. I liked them better at a separate studio because Disney cannot do as much with them as Fox did. It's a simple fact. Deadpool fixed everything. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Deadpool to pop up in Infinity War 2 and fix everything with that time turner. Back and turn, back time. Cleaning up the timeline. That should be the solution. I may have given a spoiler alert there for spoiler. Didn't give an alert. I'm sorry. That was a spoiler for Deadpool 2. I apologize. But you know what? That movie's such a huge hit. I think most of you saw it. And there's only 3 of you in here anyway, according to that thing. Some days it's funny. Some days you do a live stream, you get a ton of people, and some days you... One day I got one guy. It was me and Tim Barry. That was it. Just the two of us. It was a private conversation between the two of us because he was the only one there. And then I deleted it when it was done because I'm like, this is This is going to be anyone who stumbles upon this after the fact. It's just going to look weird, just me and one dude having a conversation with each other. So yeah, that's my take on X-Men. I think it was better at a separate studio because Marvel Cinematic Universe, Disney, Marvel. There's only so many release dates in a year. There's only so many release dates, and uh, they do 3 Marvel movies a year, and they need time on their schedule to release a Pixar movie, a Star Wars movie. Uh, they're doing live action remakes of all their animated films now, so you gotta leave room on the schedule for those. So you can't. There's only so many slots where you can put a movie in. That means we're going to see less X-Men movies. It's just a simple fact. Now, when all they had was X-Men, when that was all they had, they could do X-Men, they could do Deadpool, they could do Wolverine, they could work. The New Mutants was in development. That's doing reshoots right now. You could put more content out there because you can like really dive into the X-Men universe and do solo projects for Wolverine and Deadpool, and because that was all you had. Now that's not the case with Disney, so they're not going to be able to do these things. They're not going to really be able to do the Gambit movie and the Wolverine movie and the Deadpool movie because they still got to find room for Captain Marvel and they got to find room for Spider-Man, and so it just means less movies that we get. So I find that disappointing. I know a lot of people have been like, oh, they got to get it back. Marvel's got to get it back. But Marvel getting it back just means less content for us, the viewer. That's the way I see it. And also, Disney's never going to do R-rated movies like Logan. Or maybe they'll do an R-rated Deadpool 3 because that's already been established. And they might be like, well, it's working. It's a success. But, Disney, they're not. Disney doesn't really put out R-rated movies. They used to under the Touchstone banner, but when's the last time you saw something come out under the Touchstone banner? They just don't. They don't put that stuff out anymore. I'm rambling now, and the numbers are dropping. So apparently, you're very uninterested in what I'm saying. So, does anyone have another topic? Another movie coming out? Everyone seems to be excited about Halloween. You guys excited about Halloween? I got issues with that too. I can go on another rant. You want another rant? I can get rid of the last remaining 2 of you. I'm getting silly now. So what's going on? Chris, you still there? Who are the... Well, it jumped up to 5. See, like I said, you can't go by that number. You can't go by that number. Halloween seems okay. I like some of the Halloween movies, but I don't like the fact that they basically just threw the continuity of all of them out again. It's like, first of all, it's not the first time they've done that. It just talk about time paradoxes. The Halloween franchise is the most screwed up series of timelines. You need Doc Brown's chart from Back to the Future 2 to follow which movie follows which. I kind of thought they should have stopped at H2O. Halloween H2O is my second favorite Halloween movie after the original, and I felt it gave the series a definitive ending that they should have stuck with. Of course, they never were going to. They never would stick with that ending because they want to, of course, they want to keep making more movies. They make money, so I take that back. H2O is not my second favorite movie. It's my second favorite movie in the Michael Myers line of Halloween movies. My favorite Halloween movie, my number 1 top favorite Halloween movie is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Hey, Movie Hunter, welcome to the live stream. You missed my rant about the X-Men. That's just what it is, me ranting. So there is a number of shows on YouTube of people who just talk about movies. They just stand here and talk and talk and talk about movies. And I've always said that this channel lacks an identity. And I'm thinking maybe that's just what I should do. That's what I know. That's where my interest lies. I've been doing the podcast for years, and the podcast was me talking about movies. So maybe I just bring it to a video format. But I'm not good at just standing here and talking alone. I kind of need interaction. So I don't know. Maybe that's a way to go. Maybe not. Maybe we do it live. Maybe I set up a live time every week and say, hey, this is the time we're going to be on talking about movies. Send your topics in or something. I don't know. Something like that. It gives me, you can give it some kind of structure. So, me picking stuff up and showing it to you is, just in case you're wondering, that's me covering for the fact that I have nothing to say until you ask a question or make a comment. The world according to Joe is something no one has ever asked for. No one has ever been interested in. Oh, Robin Williams as the genie. Well, he has proved himself in the role. But never underestimate Will Smith. The man has some crazy charisma. I have a feeling he just might be able to pull that off. The guy does have charisma out the buttocks, as they say. Is that what they say? Is that an expression? Charisma out the buttocks? So, when I pick something up, that is me covering for lack of things to say. So there's the Solo Steelbook again. Easily my favorite Star Wars prequel. Yeah, I like Aladdin too. Aladdin, Chris is saying Aladdin's his favorite. I like that one too. My favorite, I'll tell you this. I'll be controversial. Let's just talk about the recent ones. Just the recent Disney movies, not including Pixar. The Disney Studios animated films. I think that the ones that are the most popular with the masses in recent years, Frozen, Moana, and Zootopia. Like those are the three that got all the buzz. Everyone was talking about how great they were. Frozen, Moana, and Zootopia. And I don't think I'd agree with that, Chris. We'll come back to that. But as Moana and Frozen and Zootopia were all good. But I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I'll take the unpopular opinion. Big Hero 6 and Wreck-It Ralph, both better. Both better than Moana. Both better than Frozen. Both better than Zootopia. And Coco was good. Coco was a Pixar release. Everything Pixar does is, man, top of the line. And Pixar, man, they are some serious tearjerkers. By the way, has anyone seen Searching with John Cho? Because I got to tell you, the first 10 minutes of Searching really, really took me back to Up, the beginning of Up, where you kind of get that whole story in about 10 minutes. I got that from Searching as well. I was sitting there like, wow, this really gives me the Up vibe. So, Chris, you were saying you thought Solo was better than Last Jedi. I cannot agree with you there. I think Solo is easily the best Star Wars prequel I've ever seen, with Rogue One coming in a close second. But I really enjoyed this. But Last Jedi, I thought was just... that's my third favorite Star Wars movie. My favorite Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back. Second favorite is A New Hope, Episode 4, a.k.a. the first one. And my third favorite is Last Jedi. I just thought Last Jedi was astounding. Like, I remember the first time I saw it in the theater, and I saw it 5 times in the theater. But I remember the first time I saw it in the theater, that is Vincent. Yes, that is. Who's that? IMAX. Hello, IMAX. Yes, it is. There's Vincent. First time I saw Last Jedi in the theater, I had to pee so bad, and I did not want to move from my seat because I was so riveted by the movie. And I told my wife, I'm like, I don't remember the last time I've been this edge of my seat riveted by a movie. So let me see. Can I get Vincent down without knocking things over? Yeah, there's my Vincent Funko Pop. I love Vincent. I love, I always say I like Funko Pops that aren't human. I'm not really so crazy about the human ones. I like creatures and robots and Muppets and things like that. So this one really is in my wheelhouse. Human Pops all look the same. I agree. I mean, some of them have some distinguishing characteristics. Like, for example, Jordy here, he's human, but you're not going to mistake him because he's got that visor. And Mr. T, he's pretty identifiable. But generally speaking, I don't care for the human ones. Sam Winchester from Supernatural. I saw the Sam Winchester pop. I thought it was Marty McFly. Uh, I didn't think the Last Jedi was all that different. I mean, the Last Jedi, it felt like felt like Star Wars to me. I always hear people say they thought the Last Jedi was different, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what that means really. It just felt like Star Wars, and I've seen people say that. Um, I think they do have one for Maximilian IMAX. IMAX. I don't have that one, but I do think they made one. But I thought that it narratively just made so much sense as the sequel to Force Awakens. Just like people complained about Luke. People complained that Luke was out of character, but Luke was very in character for where we knew he was going to be from Force Awakens. Because in Force Awakens, we know Luke has left. He went away. He's doesn't want to be found because he went. Basically, he's hiding, and we know he didn't want them to find him. He kind of hid the map so they wouldn't be able to find him. So then we get to Last Jedi, and she finds him, and this is a guy who went away because he did not want to be there anymore. And then people were shocked he didn't want to go back with her, and it's like, well, that makes sense. That makes so much sense because we've established he went away. He went away, and he kind of took the map and was like, "Don't find me." So of course he. What else would he do? uh, I love that movie so much. And the thing I always see people complain. The one thing I always see people complain about in the Last Jedi that I'll never understand is I don't understand. People take issue with Princess Leia using the Force to save her life. And that to me was just one of the greatest scenes in the movie. I remember I applauded when she opened her eye and used the Force to pull herself back to the ship. In the theater, I was like, yes! Because at the time, now granted, we now know Leia is in Episode 9 using archival footage. We didn't know that at the time. At the time, we thought this was her final appearance on screen. And we've known that this character is powerful with the Force since 1980, when Yoda said, "There is another." So for over 30 years, we've known that this character has a lot of power with the Force. And my image is frozen right now on my camera. I don't know if I'm still live or if you guys can see me or not. This is a little weird. I don't know if I should keep talking. And that's bizarre. All right, I'll keep talking. Maybe the image will pick up. But yeah, we know that this character was super powerful with the Force, and we saw her kind of use the Force in little small doses, like in Empire Strikes Back when she sensed Luke was alive, and 30 years passed. Hey, I can see myself again. 30 years passed between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, and we know that Luke had given her some training there, That was kind of established that Luke had trained her a little bit. So, of course, a character who's as powerful as Luke is going to save her life. And what she did was so simple. Like, it wouldn't even take that much effort because there's no gravity in space. And she pulled herself towards the ship. There's literally no gravity. So she just would need to create the tiniest little push to go. So, man, I thought that was just a triumphant moment for the character. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. But man, I have some serious love for that movie. And I have some serious love for Solo, too. I still don't understand the people who boycotted Solo because they didn't like The Last Jedi. That makes no sense because this is a movie made by a completely different set of filmmakers. Different writers, different director. And, well, that's because they have force fields. That's like on Star Trek. You know, they open the shuttle bay. But there's often people standing on the shuttle bay and you see the doors open because they don't release the force field until the room is clear. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. But completely different set of filmmakers for Solo. To me, like saying I'm not going to see Solo because I don't like The Last Jedi is like saying I'm not going to watch Candyman because I didn't like E.T. You know, they're written by different people. Perfect example is Star Trek Into Darkness, which I did not like. But I was there for the next one, Star Trek Beyond, because it was a different director, different writers, and it was a much, much better movie. So what else should we talk about? How long have I been going? 32 minutes I have been going. Yep, and I am pretty much run dry on things. I should write a list of things to talk about. And I'll have things I want to talk about. No, I reversed that. That's not how the song goes. It's, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. You know, you always make each day a special day for me. You know how? By just your being you. Hey, surprise cat cameo. I am getting loopy, apparently. When I start singing Mr. Rogers tunes, that's how you know I've had it. So I got a Stocks bar here. I don't drink much. I really don't. I haven't had anything to drink tonight. You may be surprised. You might be like, Krazy Joe's drunk. I'm not. Haven't had any alcohol at all. But I do have a lot of stuff down here at the bar. And it's kind of funny because I was telling a friend of mine, I often feel like I'm the lush of YouTube because all the other YouTube guys that I know don't drink at all. So my drinking just a little teeny tiny bit makes me feel like I'm the town drunk. So what's going on here, Kat? You coming to harass me? You only drink scotch? Well, come on over, Movie Hunter, because I got some 18-year-old Glenfiddich right here. I do like beer, but I enjoy a good scotch. The cat wants some. Yeah, the cat should have some. He needs to. This cat. He always. He's a nice cat. He's a nice cat, but he does have claws, and he has a tendency to dig his claws into my legs when he wants attention. So, that's obnoxious, Jules. Well, I'm probably going to end this live stream because I am out of things to say, and it's getting late, you know? So, I need to go to bed. So, we'll have to do this again soon. Until next time, keep wearing those pajamas.